Hey guys, it's Maymay, and it is time to do our Hide His Word in My Heart journaling for this week. And I'm excited. This verse that we're going to be looking at this week is very, very important. It's one of those things where whenever we're in a situation and we just don't understand how we got here or why we got here, and we're just trying our best to figure out what in the world has happened. And this scripture reminds us that we are to not try to understand it ourselves, but just trust the Lord. So here's the verse for this week. It's Proverbs 3:5, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding." No matter how many times I try to figure out a situation, I have no idea what God is doing to work something out until He has actually worked it out. And there's one thing that we've learned, Vince and I have learned this for many years, God doesn't waste our experiences. So anytime we have that this verse in our minds, we can just go, you know what? We're not going to try to figure this out. We're just going to trust God, and He's going to do something good in it. Now, when you're doing your study this week, I challenge you to go ahead and read all the verses around it. You'll learn a lot of things. One of my favorite things about this part of Scripture is, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. So you do have to acknowledge God and acknowledge that He's working and that He's doing what He needs to do. And then things just kind of fall into place when we give Him all of the glory and let Him know that we know He's in charge, right? Okay, so let's get started on our scripture. So this is Proverbs 3:5, beautiful scripture. And I don't know, I kind of looked through a lot of different stuff this week as to what I wanted to use on my page. And I had a whole different direction I was going in. You guys will probably find this too. But it just leaned me back to this. I love these colors. This is some paper that I just got, and I just love this and I thought this worked really, really good for, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So we're going to use that. And all these letters, I think I'm going to try to use these letters too, kind of like I did last time where I just kind of focused on a couple of words. We're going to do that, and then we're going to use this guy. So let's get started. I still haven't done my cover page. It's still blank. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't decided. This is the one I did last week, so I'm going to flip this over. And what I decided to do is I'm going to actually glue this page to this page because I think it needs to be a little more sturdy than it is. And so I'm going to use some of this art glitter glue just because it'll dry really quick. I just don't want this page to get loose in any way. I'm even going to put a good bit of glue in the binding. And you can do this in your books too. If you think you need to make them a little more sturdy, you can always glue a couple pages together. You could probably use some Alene tea or anything like that. That would work just fine. I'm just going to flip this page over and glue that together. I just think that'll be a little sturdier. I already like the feel of that better. Even though I'm going to be using scrapbook paper again, I just think that will... I'm probably going to go do that every time, just kind of adhere extras together, unless I feel like it's, really strong. Just the beginning of my book's kind of weak. Okay, so first things first, I want this page to be a focal point and a background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down to 8.5 by 11. And I'm actually probably going to put this as far in this corner as I can, so I have all this room for writing. So let me get out my paper trimmer and get your paper cut to the right size. Now let's see how this looks in the book. Okay, so I'm on the right page here. And this will sit right here. That's perfect. Now one thing I think I will do is trim a tiny bit more off here so that it clears my binding area, because I think that's going to get a little hard to turn if I don't. I'm just going to trim a little edge more off. Just about 1/8 of an inch. And let that stay off of that binding. Yeah, that's much better. So I still have room for it to open and close, and I like that. Okay, I'm going to adhere this down. I know I want this to go down, and so I'm going to use some sticky tape first. The reason I like to use the sticky tape is because I can get it right to the edge, and with liquid glue sometimes I don't get it exactly to the edge. So with this, I know I'm getting it in the right spot. Then just for a little extra, I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue just in some spots where I'm not putting all of the dry glue. I hope you're enjoying your journey of art journaling. I know for a lot of people this is the first time they've ever done it. And to be honest, this is really kind of the first time I've ever done this. I feel like I'm really kind of doing more scrapbooking right now than art journaling, but I just kind of like this because I love paper and I like to see it like this. I like to use it in different ways. Just check that out. That is good. Okay, so now I'm going to cut these letters apart using my trimmer and go ahead and just kind of make myself an alphabet out of them. So you can see here I've cut out the words trust and lean. Let me bring this one over. Put them in place. So I have trust and lean, and I love how these letters look. They're really cool looking. They're kind of hard to see on camera right now, but you'll see them in the close-ups really good. Now I want to work on the heart for trust in the Lord with all your heart. And I love this striped paper, and I think it just pulls all those colors in so good. And I have this heart punch that I think I'm going to use. I'm either going to use this one. Let me see the size because I have two of them. I have one that's a 2-inch and a 2.5 inch. The 2-inch is kind of small. The 2.5 inch is kind of big. Let me compare it to this ampersand. I don't know. I'm gonna punch one of each, and that way I can just play when I get to it. So I'm going to start with this one. It's not taking up too much paper, so there's one I might decide to use. Yeah, I kind of think the bigger one's going to work better, but we'll see when we get there. Okay, so let's kind of lay this out on our page. Okay, so we're going to work with the word trust first. And it is trust. Do you guys do this? I'm still memorizing it, but I want to make sure I get it just right. So I have the scripture here. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. So the first word is trust. So I think it's going to go at the top, kind of centered. Not exactly. Let's just see. But this is where trust will go. So we trust in the Lord with all your... I really want heart to go here in this area. So maybe it's trust in the Lord. Nope. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And then we'll do the word lean here. Not to your own understanding. So I'm going to have to write my wording part kind of small, but I really like how this is kind of playing out. So check that out. See how the colors are and things like that? I like that a good bit. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. But you know what I think I'm going to do first? I'm going to fussy cut these letters. I think they'll look better, and I think I'll get more room out of them. So I'm going to cut away and do that, and we'll get back together. So let me show you what I've done to these. These letters have all been fussy cut and wink of stelled, and I'll show you what I did. I took some small scissors and just cut these letters out of the page. Oops. Because I thought they would look better on the page if they were actual letters. And then I took a black Spectrum Noir marker and ran this around the edge on the side to kind of clean up the cut and also to kind of give it a little definition from the page. Take some of that craft color out and put the solid black. So just holding the marker on its side and just coloring that edge. It just makes it look like your cuts were perfect, although mine were nowhere near perfect. And you might think I'm crazy for fussy cutting all these, and to be honest, about halfway through I kind of thought I was too. But I just kept telling myself, this is a keepsake. I want this to be good. I want to do what I want. So I just took my time. It probably took about 15 minutes. Not that much time. Kind of therapeutic. My boys are home, so I could hear them in there chatting with each other. So that was nice to listen to them talk a little bit. Okay, so got that done. Now then, I'm going to show you... I'm going to bring these up, but Wink of Stella is really hard to see on the camera. Well, you can see it there some. Those are coated in Wink of Stella. I'm going to coat this T really quick right here. And I'm just using my clear one and just going right over it. Just the whole thing. And I put it on some scrap paper so I can be messy and not try to be perfect. Okay, now we're going to do one more thing to those. I have some 3D crystal lacquer, and I think it'd be really cool. I actually saw Vicky from Clips and Cuts do this. She says that she really likes the look of glossy accents on top of Wink Stella. I don't have glossy accents, but I do have this 3D crystal lacquer. So I'm going to try that on top of here. Now I have those all coated in the 3D crystal lacquer, and it's kind of late at night here, so I'm just going to let these sit until tomorrow, and then we'll come back and we'll finish the page. That way they'll be good and dry. So we'll see how they look then. So when we last left, I was letting these letters dry, and I want to show you, after the Wink Stella and after the crystal lacquer, this is what you get. And I think that's really pretty and very shimmery. So I decided to go ahead and do the heart the same way, and if that'll focus. There we go. The heart is not perfect. It has some imperfections in it, which, ironic, huh? So now I'm putting down the letters for the word trust. And I'm using my art glitter glue for that. So I'm just kind of eyeball lining these up next to each other. And they're pretty much the same height, so that makes it pretty easy. And the glue is kind of oozing out, but it does dry clear. So I'm just going to do a little rub down on it, a little pat on it. Just kind of hold that in place for a second. I love how those look. I think that looks neat. And now I'm going to do the other letters. So there's trust. And then I want heart to end up somewhere in this area, but I'm not exactly sure where. And I want lean somewhere in this area. And the reason I want lean here is because I want and lean to be like this. So it'll be trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your, see that's the part, is understanding, getting understanding down here. So let's see if there's another way to do it. Let's move this up some. And I'll move lean up even with that. So I think I'm going to do lean even with that, and then I'll work around it with the wording. Because we can get creative with the wording. I like that. Okay, now then I have a ruler and a pencil. And I think what I'm going to do here is kind of give myself a line where I want to put, let me go back to my scripture because I have to do that a lot. So trust in thee is going to go here. And I think I'm going to bring it up about halfway of this and make myself a little line, which can be erased. So now I can see my line. I'm going to pencil in the word in. Like so. And then pencil in thee. And by penciling in, I can change the lettering to look how I want it to look. And you probably can't see that in pencil, but I can see it. And then when I do it in marker, you'll be able to really see it, because I'll go back over it with marker. So let's see if we can get Lord with all on this line. Now I'm going to do Lord, and I'm going to do it a little different because I want it to stand out. And then see where we're going to put heart with all. And I'm going to do the word your here. And I think I'm going to do it in kind of cursive. See, I like doing it in pencil because you can play around with it. I think I'm going to change the word all the way I have it written and make it a little bigger to pull some visual over here too, because I feel like it's kind of too small. So I'll show you what I mean. I think we're going to do the word all kind of big, so that way it kind of emphasizes with all of your heart. Then I like lean not, like that. And then to your own understanding, is that it? On your, so, and lean not on your own, and then understanding. I'm going to go ahead and put understanding down here. I think I'll do it in cursive too. just fit if I did it that way. Understanding. Lean not. And let's do on your and then O-W-N. Okay. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. And then I want to put, I think I'll put it in here, Proverbs 3:5. Okay, so I'm going to glue this guy down right there. I stuck it down to some white paper before I did the 3D crystal lacquer to keep it still, so you can see that white on the back. Okay. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I'm going to hold that down for a few minutes. So now I'm just going to take the fine point of a marker and pencil and color in what I penciled in, so you'll be able to see it. Now it will really show up. I like how this looks, but you know I like to do a little shading around the sides. So I'm going to do that just around the side of some of these little images that I have on. And I'm going to do it with, this is a BG8 Spectrum Noir, and it might be a little dark, but it's alright because I'm going to blend it out a little bit. See, I like it kind of almost like a shadow, as if you would cut it with a shadow piece or something like that. Then I'm going to take my clear blender and try to pull it out some. And I don't know how well that'll do on this craft cardstock, but I really want this to kind of be shady, like a blurry shadow. And that's kind of pulling it out. And I'm going to do that around all the letters too. So now I'm just taking my clear blender and pulling some of that black around the edges of the word Lord. Just kind of bringing it to the middle just to give it a little color. It really probably won't have very much once it actually dries. But I'm just kind of pulling that dark in. And this way, the little polka dot background, you can still see that through it too. This is where you just have fun. You've gotten the basics done. You've got the groundwork all laid out. You know where everything's going. And you just have fun. Now, I think I'm going to bring a white pen in and kind of do some white, maybe not dots. We'll see what we're going to do. Let's just kind of practice. Let's just play a little bit. And I think what'll make this look better is to do some white on it too. So I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what it's missing, is something lighter. And there you go. I think that is it. I'm happy with it. It does exactly what I want it to do. So that is page 2 of our journal. And this is the scripture for this week. It is Proverbs 3:5. And trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Now remember, mine is from my version of the Bible, and you may use a different version, and that's fine. And you can change that up any way you'd like. And I've so enjoyed seeing you guys' picture on our Facebook group. If you're not familiar with what this project is, head over to our Facebook group, which is called Hide His Word in My Heart, and I'll leave a link below for you guys, and you can go check us out. So last week's page is this one, and then this week's page is this one. So we're getting there. I just love it. I like how this turned out. I love these colors. These seem to be very me. Alright guys, until next Sunday, I will enjoy looking at all of your pictures that you put up onto our Facebook page. And I just love you guys so much, and thank you for taking this journey with me. And God bless. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.